everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Toy Lines podcast. I'm Tom Romero.
Me and Weststuff.
Hey, and what a great week for news. Kind of a slow week, but some really powerful stuff.
Great nonetheless.
Yep. So, WandaVision.
Do you want to start?
I enjoyed it, flat out. Here's my thoughts on it. I'm glad they had the second episode.
Yes, I agree.
On the same time as the pilot, because if you don't know anything about Wanda or Vision, you're just going to be lost.
I think it would have been wiser to release it all at once so you can binge it. And this is my reason. If you watch it, it's very weird because you don't know what's going on. And I think it was good to have the second episode because it's going to get to the point after each week to tell you what the show's about. However, I fear that they're going to lose a lot of viewers by releasing it weekly. Whereas if you could binge it, you could be like, well, let me watch one more. Let me just see what happens. And then you kind of start to slowly realize what's going on.
Right.
I did like the black and white. And I did like the added touches of color here and there.
Mm-hmm.
I like the reference to Dick Van Dyke, where he always trips over the chair. And there was a lot of 50s TV show themes and nods they were kind of playing with. One thing that I kept thinking of when I was watching it, in 1991, did you ever hear of a show called Hi, Honey, I'm Home?
No.
Okay, so when Nick at Night, when it first came out, had a show called Hi, Honey, I'm Home. And it's basically it was 14 episodes, and it was about a 1950s sitcom that goes off the air in modern day, and they move in next door to this family. And the boy who is the neighbor realizes it's them because he used to watch the show. So they would go from color, and they'd have this device that can make it go in black and white. But the show would have a lot of guests on it, like the actors and actresses who played Grandpa Munster, Allison Trixie, Gomer Pyle, Dobie Gillis, Eddie Haskell. And those are the things I kept thinking of when I was watching the show. So it played the period very well. But like I said, I am afraid of a little bit of them losing viewers because it's not a binge show yet. However, there were things that were pretty cool, and
there were a ton of Easter eggs.
Yes, and I really thought the inclusion of the Beach Boys song in the second episode, I think that was like my favorite scene out of it, because that was one of those moments where things are kind of happening, and it was a great song to include. And when you listen to the song, and I don't know if I should really say the name for sport, the name makes you think of a name of a character, even though it's not the character's name, and you'll understand that when you watch it.
Right.
But it was interesting. But I do think a lot of people have told me it was weird, and I'm just like, yeah, it was.
Yeah, apparently you have to wait till the third episode for everything to start to understand the first two.
See, they maybe should have released the first three then.
That's what I was thinking as well, but I guess they didn't want to overkill.
Yeah, it is 9 episodes, I believe. And then this will lead into Doctor Strange 2, because she's going to be a part of it.
Now, here's a theory I'm subscribing to. Mephisto's controlling her.
Okay.
Agatha Harkness is her neighbor. That's Catherine Hahn.
Right. The lady who, with Ralph, the husband?
Yes.
Right. So why do you think, so you think she's Mephisto, or?
No, I think she's working with Mephisto.
Okay.
Because if you remember, Agatha Harkness was in the Wanda and Vision comic.
Oh, okay. I never read it.
Yeah, so I know it'd be interesting to see if, Mephisto really is a part of it. So maybe he could be the next, big bad.
Maybe. I did like the part where I hope this isn't a spoiler when
well, I just ruined it for everybody if I'm right. So
well, when he's chewing the gum and they show it go in his stomach,
that was weird. Yeah,
I kind of liked how it was like a 1950s cartoon.
Right. I enjoyed
Yeah,
that.
I like that kind of like that look of it is like gumming up the works,
Mhm.
so to speak. So yeah, it was I'm actually interested to see how this is going to play into Doctor Strange. I have a feeling it's going to obviously do with the multiverse.
A lot
She's
of
what
people a lot of people are speculating that Wanda is going to fight Doctor Strange.
she's going to go evil.
Maybe.
I was hoping Nightmare would
I
be
was
the
hoping he would help her or like pull her out of it if it is Mephisto controlling
well
everything. Like this is supposed
because
to be there's another rumor, and I don't like talking about rumors, but this is kind of interesting. This is Kevin Feige's way of introducing the X-Men and mutants.
okay. Now, was it? Am I wrong in saying that I heard Loki and Doctor Strange were going to have an appearance in the show?
I know
Did you
Doctor
hear?
Strange is.
Okay,
I
so
don't know about
somewhere.
Loki.
Okay, uh,
He was seen on the set, so I don't know what that means.
that could be anything,
I
just
doubt. Yeah, I
popping in
doubt he
off
was a
from his
consultant.
show, or yeah. I guess we'll have to keep watching.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm enjoying it so far,
The
but
commercials were good
I'm
too.
a fan.
You know, like
Well,
the
the commercials for me, like I'm trying to like the whole show right now is to see what you could see, the newspaper and the neighbors working with or is a witch, you
and
know.
there's also
I just want
things.
to take back and just sit down and enjoy a TV show instead of hunting for clues.
Well, you have to watch it twice then because
Yeah.
you're going to do it You're probably going to catch yourself regardless doing it. Um, the one that I like the fact that the commercials mentioned like the toaster and it was like they say
It's a
Stark.
bomb. Yeah.
It was a bomb.
Well, that's what they're saying because when he turns it on, it's like a repulsor array from Iron Man. It
Okay,
makes the same noise. And then that red light is like a timer.
I liked how they had a little bit of color in the black and white. It's usually the color red.
Right.
If you think back to it. And then the uh, the second one, you got to anybody who hasn't seen it, look closely at the watch's face for the word and the insignia.
Right.
That's what I'll say. And if you've seen it and you didn't see it, go back and watch it. So you'll kind of pick up on it.
Yeah, I think most people that are watching it are like us, to be honest with you.
Probably,
I mean, unless you're, a casual Marvel fan that enjoyed the movies.
if
I
you're,
don't know if I don't know if those first two episodes are enough to get you intrigued.
but that's the problem. If you're coming into it from the movies and that's your introduction to some of these characters who
Right.
you've never heard of before, you might be like, I don't know if I like the show. So in that case, I think I would say, folks, just hang in there,
Yeah, give it a chance.
give it a couple more episodes, or just wait till it's over and binge it, and you might enjoy it better.
Right.
I don't think it's going to be like Winter Soldier and Falcon, where it's each week. I think will work well as a weekly because most likely it's going to be action and adventure. So like The Mandalorian worked well as a weekly. It made you want more, but it's also made you glad that I was like, oh, I'm so glad this is weekly because it's something to look forward to every week.
Yeah, but we're from that era. We had to sit around and wait for next
And
week.
well, we're also from the era where there was no. If you missed it, you had to wait for summer reruns if
Yeah.
you were lucky, and
If you had that VCR.
yeah, or Betamax. I also think that as much as I like to Netflix, what I love about it is I can watch Stranger Things that season in 2 days, but I also don't like it because I can't control myself. I want to know what happens, and I'm like, I gotta wait for how many to the next season. So it goes both ways. It's I don't know. I'm tough to please, I guess, but I like it.
Well, speaking of tough to please, you were at Toys R Us in Jersey yesterday. Or the other
Yes, New Jersey. So if there's a I don't know. I was going to throw a Star Wars quote in there, but anyway. So last year, whatever you want to call it, Tommy was at the Toys R Us by us, and he was just talking about it. I was in there yesterday, and it was bare. I mean, the shelves were empty, and really the only product in there was like kids' toys and a couple of books. And when I say bare, I mean, Tom, it was like, and I can't even tell you what it was like. It was just like a barren wasteland. Yeah. So there were people buying things. I don't even know what they bought because, maybe some crayons or something. But when I was leaving, and the lady at the front, she just says, please keep your mask on and all that kind of stuff. What's going on today? I asked her, I said, are you guys going out of business? And she said, we're doing inventory, but it does look like that way. It does look like they're going out of business. She did say their store in Texas went out of business and closed. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that, and this, I guess she's fed up. I don't know, with the company, whatever. She did say, she gave me the reason why without me even asking. According to the employee, the CEO who first bankrupt Toys R Us was hired back and did it again. So I wish her good luck in finding a job, since that's going to most likely happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, she's definitely not getting a severance package like the last group.
No, but I don't know why you would hire this person back to be the CEO who did it the first time, unless you want it to happen again.
Exactly.
And then it made me think, I'm jealous of Canada and Japan and the other countries that still have a Toys R Us, because I'm sick of not having a toy store.
Yeah, the Toys R Us American name is just mud at this point.
I'm going to be honest with you, it wasn't even a good store. But then when I found out it was closing, I was like disappointed because, yeah, the store was terrible, but it was the only thing we had left other than Target or Walmart. And it's just like, you can't go on a good toy run like we used to in the 90s. I honestly miss that, just driving around and looking for toys. We would go to like 2-3 Toys R Us's in a KB, then to a diner. That was like the Jersey way. And now it's like, it's nothing. So I was disappointed to hear that. I was shocked and disappointed.
Yeah, that's a shame. And right now we're still battling Target and Walmart. Although I will admit, Target is starting to improve.
Yeah, actually, I was going to say the same thing. So I was at Target yesterday as well. And while their shelves were bare, they were stocking them in the middle of stocking out new inventory. One of which was they finally had the Masters of the Universe, the new toys.
Okay.
And on the peg, there was only 2 figures on a peg, and they were both Skeletor. But I don't think they finished stocking yet.
Well, January is usually the month where retailers reset for the year.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking's going on.
Yes. So hopefully Target will be bringing in more merchandise.
Exactly.
The Walmart by me, honestly, it's not far. I just hate driving there because it's a nightmare. But I do need to check out their toy section just to see what it's like.
I had a minute to hobble on over to Walmart, and I actually found the NECA Baxter Stockman and Splinter set.
Oh, nice.
For the cartoon series, and it was full too. So I was very surprised about that and pleased. At least people are starting to see product now.
Right. Yeah.
So let's get into our theme today: bootlegs.
Bootleg. Bootstrips.
Funny looking figures.
So and to clear up our concept of bootleg figures, we're not talking people who customize their own figure,
right?
For themselves.
There's a difference.
If you're making yourself a Jedi Knight and you're making yourself one to look like you,
that's custom.
That's custom. If you're customizing a toy to look like something that isn't out yet, and you're not selling it,
right?
Custom.
Like these right now are customs,
right? And then that's cool. That's. I mean, the Dumb and Dumber one looks really good, actually.
Yeah, customs are incredible.
I mean,
these honestly, they look like reaction figures. If you didn't know any better,
they do. I like how it says Aspen Edition for Dumb and Dumber. Bootlegs would more be anything where they were taking it with the intention of making money off the product, and
they're fooling you basically.
Yeah,
because to people that don't know as well,
like your aunt or uncle who doesn't know as much.
Exactly.
And
like the Revengers, Endless Tussle. I mean, who knows what that means, but There's Token Girl.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know who she's supposed to be.
Gamora, maybe? She's green.
Yeah, I was thinking She-Hulk, but she wasn't even in the movie.
Yeah, exactly. So bootlegs have been around for a while, and they're not stopping anytime soon.
No, and bootleg everything. You can remember going into a convention,
Oh yeah,
and
totally.
it was those guys selling bootleg anime and movies and stuff. So,
Well, let's not knock the movies because half my cartoon collection are bootlegs.
But I mean, just saying in general, like bootleggers, even we can,
Well,
if you want, we can even talk about prohibition.
You know what? Yeah, exactly. But here's something weird. They're referred to as bootlegs, but if you think of it, they're not really bootlegs. They're just lower quality
Unlicensed
copies. Exactly.
Yeah, the lower quality for sure. It's like a really poor copy.
It also depends on where you get it from. Because
Yeah,
I have some bootlegs that look amazing. They look like they're live.
did you know they were bootlegs when you got them?
Yeah. Well, you can't find them anywhere.
Okay.
Like I know we'll never see the '80s Muppet Babies, only because of licensing issues. I mean,
Okay.
they took from everything: Star Wars,
They did Indiana Jones.
Sherlock Holmes. So we'll never see that. I mean,
They would
unless
just have the
Mickey has a change of heart because he pretty much almost owns most of those licenses.
well, whatever he doesn't, they either have to edit that out or pay some kind of video license fee for the video or
Exactly.
streaming service or whatever.
Right.
It's just like when Cinderella was really, I think it was Cinderella, was released on video. The actress who provided the voice, that was never in a contract, obviously, because that didn't exist back then. So she took him to court because they were using this and making money off of it. So, the bootlegs are interesting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it.
Right. But don't be confused so much because, take Fuerza-T, for example.
Right. And this is something you showed me I thought was
right. Right. But this is legit. This is Top Toys. Granted, they stole, the He-Man vintage action figure and redesigned it almost, and came close. But I mean, a lot of collectors love this stuff.
So the guy on the card with the green face,
Platino.
who?
That's his name, Platino.
Oh, okay. Well, the He-Man dude is
right.
The guy and this blue guy in the green face on the card.
Yeah, I think those are his enemies.
Well, no, I was gonna say the green guy. He looks like that one He-Man villain with the two heads.
Man. Oh, Too Bad.
Yeah, that's what he looks like to me.
Okay.
I don't know if that's what they pulled their inspiration from, but
possibly.
Yeah.
But like something like this, collectors love. This isn't to them. This is not a bootleg because there's a whole backstory, and I mean, I'm surprised Mattel hasn't tried to get this or.
Well, maybe Mattel, if they use Mattel molds, maybe Mattel let them. Is it possible?
No, they never got Mattel's permission for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
no, this is basically Top Toys was a distributor for Masters of the Universe in Argentina.
Okay.
Now I don't know whose idea came up with to redo this, but somebody had the idea to take existing He-Man figures and redo them.
But in theory, it's not a bootleg of He-Man.
Right. It's
exactly.
completely brand new. Because I mean, if you look at the card, that's a brand new character. That doesn't even resemble He-Man.
Yes, but you could look at this toy and be like, that looks like a He-Man toy.
Right.
So like,
well, that was the appeal. I'm sure he was trying to.
I mean, the hair and the goatee, I don't know what they were thinking with that. And then would you, not to get off track, but what do you also think now we have 3D printers and 3D pens where you can make toys? How do you think that affects the market? Like you could just 3D print that He-Man figure you want.
It's because I'm seriously trying to get that Filmation Attack track. I mean, it's a good and bad thing depending on. I mean, Yeah, the company might be upset over it. You're basically doing copyright infringement.
Right. And if you're selling it, obviously that's not the
Right,
way to
that's
go.
illegal.
You're
I
going to
mean,
get
I'm
a.
not. I'll put it to you this way: I'm not
We need to put a disclaimer that we do not endorse
right.
bootlegs of
Right,
any
we're not
kind,
endorsing it, but you know what?
unless you're a
Sometimes,
pirate and you have like those wooden legs.
sometimes it is good. I mean, look at all the third-party Transformer stuff. It was popular because people wanted this stuff. They wanted Starscream's crown. They wanted I just lost it. Something with Grimlock. I think he came with a crown as well. And then it got so big, Hasbro had to interfere
And
and
make their own.
stop it. But slowly they are. Maybe
Okay,
not the exact same thing, but they're starting to get the idea. Hey,
there's a
why don't
market
we
for
make this
this.
exactly?
Right.
Although I doubt there'll ever be a market for.
This is just like. I mean, it's really got everything. It's got the Enterprise,
It does.
and it's got Kirk and Spock, which I'm guess they look like.
They're ready to battle to the death.
Well, they look kind of like reaction figures, but their heads look too small for their bodies.
Yeah, that's true.
They're both built but the head size for a figure like that doesn't match up.
Right. And then here's some popular ones because bootlegs have become popular over time amongst collectors. Like someone was telling me, could you imagine if you owned every vintage like Ninja Turtles figures and then you see like this, I don't know, like super metallic frog with a Ninja Turtles card, you know? Some people would actually want that. And here's the
Yeah,
interesting thing about bootlegs. Sometimes bootlegs become more valuable than the actual licensed product.
that's true.
That blew my mind when I saw that.
There's a one you're going to show that I remember. Here we are. These are the Turkish Star Wars bootlegs, and I heard about these back in the '90s from a buddy of mine I used to know in California, and they have the card looks the same, and it's very tricky because when you look at this and you look at the top, it says you think it says Star Wars, but look at that word closer. It's Stars War. And it's little things like that misspelling that they're just getting away with. A lot of the characters' names even are misspelt, obviously on purpose. But that looks like a regular Darth Vader figure with the
Right,
vinyl.
exactly. Well, that's the whole point of it. It's to grab moms and pops and aunts and uncles, instead of paying,
Now,
hypothetical 19.99 for a vintage Black Series,
Star Wars collectors,
they could pay $5 for this.
they eat this stuff up. This is my favorite because he's got the computer and it's just it's a calculator, and it's not even a scientific calculator. It's looks like a one of those oh goodness, with the light,
Pictures
the solar
instrument?
power.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, you could write like Shell Oil on that if you know how to do it with the numbers. That's what we used to do as kids. But I love the fact that the computer is a calculator, and this is the Imperial Gunner, and
They know their math.
yeah, but they I don't know what that thing in the background is that on the card. They should have took that out of a
Somebody's
shot.
wall. Yeah, somebody's wall.
But like, this I could see being a collectible for a Star Wars fan who likes the more obscure stuff, and it is obscure, but it's just like,
But here's my thing, especially with Star Wars guys.
and here's a
There
stormtrooper.
there is so much. Like, do you really want to like add more to it? I mean, granted, even the guy on Action Figure Adventure, Rob was interviewing the owner of Rancho Obi-Wan.
Oh yeah, I think he has some of these.
Yeah, he even said there's no way you can collect every single thing.
No, it's I in the '90s had the mentality of I wanted to be like him. I wanted to have like a collection like Steve Sansweet, and deep down inside, I knew I wasn't going to. But that was like the goal. It's like, oh man, I want to have everything in Star Wars, and then one day I realized I'm never going to have everything in Star Wars.
But as
So,
a completionist, is it realistic? Like I saw Motu Joe's closet on YouTube the other day. I mean, he literally has every square inch filled with He-Man stuff.
see, it kind of comes to a point because one, it's like the financial. Can you afford to be a true completionist? Another one
Exactly.
is, how do you know if there's something out there that you don't have? Because the license goes to different countries and whatnot. If you're collecting foreign things as well. Finally, what do you do when you get to the point? So you've been collecting for decades, and you're uh, well up there in age. What are you going to do with it all? Your kids probably won't even like what you like. Not saying that's going to happen, but a lot of kids sometimes don't like what their parents like. And if you pass, they're going to be stuck now with this burden of this collection. And they can sell it and probably make some money on it. But like, it's also like you want to leave them with that burden. So there's thoughts like that sometimes that make me kind of cut back on buying things.
Hmm.
But
Nope.
I do like seeing stocked collection. I love seeing somebody who is like this, like that mentality and does it, and it's just like, wow, it's very impressive.
Yeah, some people I've heard, they have a project or buying a house and they'll sell their whole collection
Of
beforehand.
course, yeah,
Finance.
yeah,
I mean, I'm the same way. Like, I understand I'm never gonna buy every He-Man figure ever, or every He-Man item ever. I am gonna try my hardest to get every figure. But at the end of the day, do I really need that He-Man tooth dispenser or toothpaste dispenser?
well, here's the thing. Every time a new He-Man line launches, do you want to collect it, or
See,
do you feel obligated to collect it
that's a
as a
great
He-Man
question.
fan?
Classics has spoiled me. I'll be honest with you. Classics, I think, is the most perfect line ever. Now, Origins came out. Now, I love Prince Adam. So I have a Prince Adam pop. I have the Origins Prince Adam. So, but as far as Origins, maybe that's about as far as I'm gonna go with Origins. I do appreciate the minis. I'm glad they brought those back for two reasons. One, they're tiny, so I can put them anywhere,
Right,
and I can put a bunch of them anywhere and still enjoy them. And they're $5 each.
it's a good price.
Yeah, it's an excellent price.
So what if you say now you're swearing off other than this, and 5, 10 years from now, these incredibly looking toys come out again for He-Man?
Oh yeah, Masterverse. I can't
Okay,
wait. And I'm
okay, so
collecting from start to finish.
okay,
I mean, even God forbid, if the Kevin Smith show stinks, I'm still collecting these figures. If they're from the Horsemen,
okay,
you know, these figures are they're next on my list.
okay.
Origins, excuse me, that was weird. Origins is basically for kids, and I get that. I can enjoy them as well, but I also understand that these are for kids.
Right.
And I've dabbled. I have some of them. You know, but at the end of the day, it's Masterverse for me. If they're anything like classics. However, with that being said, if they're not like classics, then I may pick up a Prince Adam and He-Man.
Right. You just might pick up your favorite, and that's it.
Exactly.
That's respectable. Like, sometimes that's the cheaper way to go. The more affordable. I don't want to say cheap. It's the more affordable way to go, and you're still collecting.
Right.
You can still have your cake and eat it too,
Exactly.
as the saying goes.
And it was funny too because before direct to customer, when classics first launched in 2008, I was going to cherry pick because I collected all of 2000X. I still had my vintage. So I was like, all right, I'm going to pick and choose. But then something happened where they went to the direct to consumer subscription model. So it was either you could try and cherry pick with the white screen of death, or you can just be all in at the get go and guarantee to figure that month.
What's the white screen of death?
So Matty Collector in the early beginnings would do just that. You could either subscribe to a figure, and then they would have a day of sale where you can purchase that figure like an extra. Like, let's
Okay.
say I wanted two Fistos.
Right.
Okay. I'm already into the subscription model, so I'm guaranteed that figure for that month. Okay. But if I wanted a second fist though, without going into another subscription, I would just go on Mandy Collector Day of Sale, and myself and about a other billion other people would log in same moment, try and order that figure, and then two things would happen. It would either crash and then you'd have to reboot again,
Mm.
or what they would do is they would put you in almost like a waiting room, kind of like when you get Comic-Con tickets now. And the white screen of death would just not refresh. I mean, you have to go crazy and, just doing it, waiting to get into that page just so you
So
can order that extra figure.
you just had to wait in a white screen, basically, like you're in limbo or something.
Exactly. So,
Okay.
collectors affectionately termed it the white screen
Wait.
of death.
So
And even before the white screen of death, there was the red screen of death.
which actually sounds a lot more worse.
If you're even exactly, if you were into it, early on. But yeah.
If you're that actually sounds like a modern day Edgar Allan Poe book. Like the red screen of death. If he was writing books now, I think that's what Poe would write on a
About
computer
figures,
or about a computer, something like that. So when you're on that white screen, were you guaranteed your figure or no?
No. Sometimes depending on how long
What-
you would wait, it would just be there, and then you'd see sold out, and
Oh,
that was
that's
the end
kind
of
of
that was the end of your day.
That surely was.
Oh yeah.
Just go to bed after that.
Yeah. My wife, God bless her, she did it once for me, and she didn't quite understand the white screen of death, and she was so disappointed that she couldn't get it for me because I was stuck at work. I didn't have access to a computer. And yeah, she's like, I'm never doing that again.
So more bootlegs.
More bootlegs. So here's an interesting one. Spook
Yes.
chasers. Now this is popular.
I could see it being popular with Ghostbuster fans. It looks like
Now-
a race.
Now, why do you think it's popular? Is it like another opportunity for a different ghost? For an extra ghost?
I wasn't even thinking of the ghost, to be honest with you. I was thinking of it looks so much like Ray. The body wise, it's got Ray's body.
Right.
The head, I don't know who that head's supposed to be. It kind of looks like the proton pack from the Kenner line, at least what would be the neutrino wand. They kind of mixed it up there with that little hook at the end to catch the ghost.
Right.
But I think it kind of goes more to like with a Star Wars collector, or even that He-Man thing. When you're collecting a certain product that you have a like this connection to, so you're a big real Ghostbusters fan or a Ghostbusters fan, and you love it that much. This is like, excuse me, it's almost like a parody of it, and you feel it makes you smile. You're like, it's goofy. It's it's not it, but it's also kind of cool. It kind of looks like it. So you want that in your collection. You kind of want that little thing in your collection that every so often you're going to take a look at, and it probably will be every so often, and that just guarantees you a smile. And it's also a good conversation piece. So if you have your collection, and wherever you have it, man cave, attic, basement, whatever you keep your collection, and you have family or friends over and you're showing off your collection, or if they just happen to be over and they see it, it's a conversation starter when they see it. Like, what is this? And you just go into it, and it's good for a laugh, but it's also, the main thing is, if you like it and you enjoy it, that's why you would probably buy it.
Exactly.
And I just think I could actually see the ghosts are silly looking, and just silly looking as in like ridiculous silly, but I can see, like, if they had the three other guys there, I can see I can see at least getting the four humans, just to have like a set of them. It's kind of like when they released the Stranger Things as the boys as the Ghostbusters. I
right.
loved,
That was a great set.
I thought that was great because it was two things. It was Stranger Things and it was Ghostbusters, and I like them both. And I never got it, but I thought it was a great toy to release. I was like, No, that's pretty cool. That's going to do well.
Yeah, definitely. So let's get into some news. So that's our take on bootlegs. Please join us and add to the conversation at toyspodcast@gmail.com. Here, I'm going to leave that scrolling. So here's something that I was shocked to find out. I'm glad it's happening. Let's see if I can get it here. Batman, the animated series, is coming back. Apparently, HBO Max has greenlit a sequel series to it.
So, do we know if like Bruce Timm's working on this?
I don't know. However, I do know this. Bruce Timm did the recent Batman movie, Batman and the Dragon,
something like that. Yeah, I saw the trailer for that.
I forgot that. Yeah. So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I know Paul Dini's doing the comic book right now. So that's incredible. I mean, HBO Max they're not going to fail. You know, they just everything. AT&T is just like we're doing everything for HBO Max. Everything is going to HBO Max. So here's my question: what else from Warner Brothers do you think we're going to see?
Well,
maybe another Thundercats show.
Let's say we already got Animaniacs. We already got Picking the Brain.
Yeah, but that's Hulu though. That's something else.
Oh, okay. So you're talking more for HBO Max?
For HBO Max and Warner Brothers.
Oh, they can do Superman.
That's what I'm hoping for.
They are doing the Gremlins, where Gizmo was with the man as a child. Okay. Yeah. It's I think that might be on already, but I think that's on HBO Max. They could pretty much take any DC character at this point, maybe, Flash cartoon or whatever.
Right.
But then, what else does Warner Brothers own? If you go that way.
Yeah, they got Thundercats, Silverhawks.
Okay, so then you could be looking at their own series, which they might not be strong enough to hold their own series. But if you do like a show.
I'm wondering, here's what I'm trying to get at. Do you think they're going to go for that retro factor again?
I think if any retro factor is going to happen, they're going to wait and see what else is coming out. Because it's so, to be the one to start it is risky for a company, because you're risking a lot of money. And if it doesn't work, then you're lost a lot of money.
Right.
But if it's getting successful and then you jump on.
Obviously money is always going to be an issue, but I don't think they're as concerned for money right now. Because let's face it, they just reinvested, over $1 million right now on Justice League.
Okay.
And it's a 4-part series.
Okay, so Warner Brothers, what about Harry Potter?
Exactly.
That would be pretty cool. It's also up to J.K. Rowling, most likely, but it would be kind of cool to see a cartoon of the book that could go into depth a little bit more, and some of the things they had to cut out. That'd be kind of cool.
From the play?
From the Harry Potter books.
Oh, okay.
Like with the books, especially as characters were either filmed or cut out, or little tiny plot points were taken out altogether just because of the length of the book, and to keep the movie more concise. So that would be pretty cool to see an animated version of. I always felt that. But really, they can do new Hanna-Barbera stuff. They could bring certain characters back. Like Scooby-Doo. He'll probably always be around, just because for some reason I'm not a fan, but he's got his following.
Yeah. I'm just hoping, my fear with that they're not going to kill Cartoon Network or Adult Swim.
There's a chance, but
no.
But then again,
that's my fear.
That just means they would have to, Cartoon Network and Adult Swim would have to up their game and make more product for viewers to want, or they're gonna go.
HBO is just gonna steal it. Primal, Rick and Morty, they're all on HBO Max right now.
Okay. So the other thing is then they're going to have to go to a streaming service, maybe Netflix or something, and give them
But they have a
original.
streaming service,
They do?
HBO Max.
Cartoon Network? They're all
Well,
connected?
no, what I'm saying is, Warner Brothers owns Cartoon Network.
Oh, okay,
But
okay.
all
okay.
their stuff is going to HBO
Oh,
Max.
yeah, they're going to get rid of that channel soon. That show's gone.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
I wouldn't, unless they want to keep the people who don't subscribe to the streaming service,
Right.
and they release the stuff later on down the line, like say Primal, say they'll air it on HBO Max, and then a year or two later start showing it on Cartoon Network when it's a little bit older.
Or they might just keep Cartoon Network for the kids
Yeah,
and bring over adult and kill Adult Swim.
yeah, I would like to see older cartoons on there that
Right.
Well,
they have Looney Tunes.
Yeah, well,
Yes,
new
they're
or
really
old?
good now. Both.
Yeah, I mean, Looney Tunes with Space Jam 2 coming out should hopefully be getting a revival. It's weird to be in a world where kids don't know who Bugs Bunny is.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel sorry for them, actually.
So we are a toy podcast. So let's talk about some toys. So Hasbro Pulse announced a new She-Hulk from the Marvel Legends line. Now, they did a She-Hulk wave on the Super Scroll. It came with all Fantastic Four figures. I wish this version of She-Hulk was part of that line instead of the gray version or radioactive version that they came out with. This head sculpt is way better than the gray one.
Yes, I'll tell you, the only thing I don't like on this toy is how the head connects to that neck, because you can tell there's that one spot there where it's off colored.
Yeah, but you can always just turn it.
Yeah, just nitpicking. But this looks extremely.
It's basically the same body, just with a new head.
But this looks great, like not just for posing, but for animating. If you're into stop motion, you can do some incredible things with this figure. I'm thinking articulation. That was the word. I couldn't remember. Couldn't articulate myself.
So there's no pictures for this, folks, but Big Bad Toy Store just announced Origins Wind Raider for pre-order on their website. So Origins is getting bigger and bigger. They're following the roadmap.
The Wind Raider, did it have like a grappling hook in front?
Yes. I don't know if this one will.
What was that for? Why was it there?
Just to grab stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. So Deadpool is coming back and entering the MCU.
And will be R-rated.
And will be R-rated. So
it's interesting to see.
I don't know. I really don't get why that's such a big deal.
It isn't. And let's put it this way. Disney has released films under different distributors like Touchstone that weren't exactly Disney material. That's why they created Touchstone, to put these other types of films out and still, make money off of it.
Right. But I mean, is it really such a big deal seeing, I don't know, like Black Panther and Deadpool in the same scene? Like, it doesn't have to be R-rated.
No, I think,
I
think it's up. The parent needs to actually know what's going on, use the discretion. If you're putting Deadpool in an Avengers movie, he's not going to obviously be R-rated. But if you're going to have a Deadpool movie,
right,
that will be R-rated, and that's the difference.
Right, but I don't know. For me personally, I don't see the big deal.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but like you said, you brought up a parent's point of view, so yeah, I could.
I think it's just knowing the reading of the film, and just no issue with R-rated film, but do you want a younger child to see it?
Right. Okay.
And that's what it comes down to. So if somebody appeared in a Deadpool movie, you don't need to take your kid to see that if they're young, unless you feel comfortable with that. Right. And I really feel that if they're going to put him in, say, a Spider-Man movie, they're going to have him just more talking, making crude jokes, but they're not going to be vulgar. They're not going to be cursing. They're going to play to the audience.
Gotcha.
Or the rating.
Right. So this just launched on Kickstarter. If you're a fan of Mike Allred's Madman, they're coming out with the Odyssey 4.5 action figure with a bonus head. This reminds me of the Legends figures.
Yeah, with the build a pit, that one.
Correct.
Yeah,
Well, one of the waves, yes.
yeah.
So that's up on Kickstarter. So good luck to them if you're a Mike Allred fan. And then some more movie news. Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on Netflix is coming this summer, possibly earlier from what I've heard. And Leonardo's going to be the leader in the movie, and they're going to finally meet the Krang.
Okay. How come Raph is using a nightstick?
I don't know.
I don't watch the show, so I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, I don't, because kids don't like size, I guess.
I guess it's kind of like how they would, when the original Turtles came out, they wouldn't show Michelangelo with the nunchucks over in England.
Right? I remember that.
And they were a different name too.
And then when Nickelodeon brought them over, he didn't have nunchucks. He had
like a grappling hook, like a rope.
Right. Well, it was a chain.
Right. Okay.
But yeah,
and then and the name was different. They had to call it Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, I believe.
Not here.
No, over in England.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So yeah.
And let's see here, Darkest Dawn, and then Mezco just released for pre-order Darkest Dawn Batman. So you get multiple heads. You get the gray-haired head.
Not multiple heads, but look at the ears for the cow.
That's cool.
And the jaws too.
Each jaw is different. That only because it's a different interpretation of
Batman. Yeah.
Because I know Quesada, when he drew Batman, his ears were very small.
Right.
And then
what did you like better for him on Batman? Did you like the longer ears, shorter ears, medium size?
I like the longer ears.
Right. I don't like too short like Adam West, but I don't like extremely long like Kelly Jones.
Right. Right. There has to be a happy medium.
Yeah. But this kind of covers, and also if you just look at the three different heads, the jaw structure is different on each of them. One's a little thinner, one's a little rounder. That's pretty interesting how they do that. That's kind of cool.
Right. And unlike other Supreme Knight figures from 112, this one ships in blue color, and there's more overlays in the cape. So you can get some cool poses out of the cape like that.
That is kind of cool. Yeah.
And the symbol is also interchangeable, which is nice.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I looked at that. I didn't really notice.
Yeah, he's got 3 different ones.
Yes.
So right. This was up on pre-order for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And then you have to go on a wait list now.
Okay.
And then it's supposedly shipping this month, which is kind of interesting for Mezco because I'm still waiting for my Christopher Reeve Superman figure. So this is retailing for $95. Hopefully they'll have some for you on the wait list. So good luck with that.
Mm-hmm.
Now Netflix. NECA just showed some pictures of Granitor and Trag. So these figures will be coming out very soon, probably sometime next month or hopefully earlier. So Granitor Xerax is coming out. Trag and Granitor is coming out along with Xerax and Zork. And also Roadkill Rodney and the Triceratons are also being reissued. So hopefully we'll see these at an actual Target now.
I like the name Roadkill Rodney. It almost literally sounds like a Garbage Pail Kid card.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And then apparently in February, NECA is going to have their own like mini toy fair.
That'd be cool. Cool to see.
They're going to announce a couple of things. Now we already know that the frogs are coming out soon.
Is that like Rasputin and all them?
Right.
And Genghis?
Yeah. Right. So that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Cryptozoic Entertainment is going to start a Kickstarter, and they're planning to fund a board game based on Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns. I don't know how I feel about that right now.
Board game version, like
Yeah, I mean,
um, I don't know. I'm not a fan of the comic,
you
so
don't like Frank Miller?
I I read that when I was in 1989. So
Okay.
I remember reading it, and I remember maybe I was too young, but I was just like, eh. I remember my cousin gave me Court of Owls, and that
Mhm.
just blew my mind, and that's kind of like probably to me what this is to most fans.
Okay.
I just love Court of Owls. I just think it's one of the best things I've ever read Batman wise.
It is cool, but
Yeah, I'll
like
probably
I
get
said,
flack for that, but
I'm a
yeah.
sucker for like old men heroes now. I'm an old man, so. So this was announced from previews, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle box set, and now this is a preview exclusive, the Sewer Layer figure collection. Now it's gonna have all the original figures: Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, Raphael, Shredder, and Splinter, but they're gonna be like the first wave of Playmates, like the actual Playmates mold.
Right.
And then along with that, there will also be the bad guys. It will come with Krang with his walker, Baxter Stockman, Bebop, Rocksteady, a Foot Soldier, and Slash.
Yep. It's pretty cool looking.
Yeah. And then, like I said, these are preview exclusives. The Turtle set is going to retail for $89.99, while the Evil set, the villain set, is going to be $100.
Hmm.
So it was also announced that Ethan Hawke will play the villain in the Moon Knight Disney Plus series from Marvel Studios.
Who's his main villain?
He's got a bunch.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, a lot of people are speculating that it might be Kenoshu. I hope I'm
Okay.
pronouncing
Not
that
really
right.
a Moon Knight guy. I don't know much about him, so
There are some, yeah, he does have some villains, but it's going to be interesting to see.
okay.
Now, if you're a Four Horsemen fan, you're going to love this. The Mythic Legion's War of Aetherblade is going to start a crowdfunding campaign to create a game based on the Mythic Legion's figures.
Is this an orc,
Yeah,
troll, or goblin?
I have no idea.
Because he is so cool looking for either one of those. I just wanted to get that out there.
They're all cool looking. I mean, who cares what he is? Just look at him.
Yeah, I think if you're a Tolkien fan, if you're a D&D fan, these things are like right up your alley.
Well, they're creating a game. They're kickstarting it, and it's a game so medieval. Gary Gygax has actually wet himself when he saw these.
Oh, how's that possible?
Yep, he did it from the grave. And then from Q-Figs, they've announced a whole bunch of Disney Afternoon characters.
They did. So let's talk about these for a second.
Sure.
Love the colors. I don't like the shape of the head. I've said this before. I feel like their heads are too big. But for these guys, I want to see the rest of the clan of gargoyles.
Yeah,
You know,
these would make a great diorama.
yeah, I just want to see the rest of the guys. But these look really cool. The color, especially the colors, are just so nice.
Yeah, right now we're looking at Goliath and Mona. They're the first two figs. And
Right.
then the hero that flaps in the night.
Now, his head, I feel, fits well for this. And I don't know what it is about it. You know, the colors again look great.
Well, I
but,
think they're trying to get that cutesy aspect. I think that's
yeah.
why.
But it just throws it off on me. But he looks like proportion wise, I think he fits great. I think it looks excellent.
Yeah, even with the oversized hat, it looks
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, that might be part of the reason why it works so well.
So this is Darkwing Duck, and then from Big Trouble in Little China,
which is excellent movie, by the way. And again, like here I see his head is just bugging me because it's too big.
Right, Jack.
But I mean, that's a great movie, and Kurt Russell's excellent, and Char Carpenter's like directing in this movie is just like it's so 80s that you gotta love it.
And then
Yes,
the
Gar-
Rocketeer.
the hero. This I love that he's in front of the flag. It's the colors are beautiful. That's supposed actually off of one of the comics. When he's kind of doing that little arm thing there. That's also the movie Rocket Pack because it's the double engine. It's the flag blowing is really a nice background to it as well. So
It
it's
is.
very very Americana. I love the Rocketeer. So this is just
Now all the Disney stuff is available from pre-order for $29.99, and Jack is the only one that's $19.99.
These are decent prices too. For these Q fig, this is a really good price for a collectible.
And then Diamond Distributor has announced on May 4th the launch of Card Culture in partnership with Topps to create a non-sports card program to produce trading cards. The program is designed to give exclusive access to retail comic stores, and the first series will be, naturally, of The Mandalorian. The first card will be released on May 4th, with the rest of the 11 card set releasing throughout the year.
So they're going to be sold individually?
I don't know.
Okay. So when I first heard about this, I was thinking like actual packs of cards like we used to collect as kids.
I mean, I'm sure. I mean, right now, May 4th, you're only getting one card.
Okay, good point.
So, and then following throughout the year as well will be other series, including Garbage Pail Kids and WWE.
It's amazing how Garbage Pail Kids are still popular today.
They're incredible. I mean, some guy just came out with a Masters of the Universe Garbage Pail
Oh, really?
set. Oh, well, he's probably drawing them himself, but it's on Twitter. And
But it's just
they still make me laugh. They're still
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
I saw the documentary not too long ago about them. I mean, it's weird, but they are still intriguing.
The movie was terrible, but yeah, Garbage Pail Kids.
Oh my god, the movie wrecked
Remember?
that kid.
The
human kid.
Yes.
He actually became an alcoholic
Was it because of that movie?
because of the movie.
Seriously?
Yeah,
That's
at least that's what it said in the documentary.
the movie is really out there, but I remember watching it and thinking this is going to be terrible.
That's a big bootleg movie, by the way.
And it wasn't as terrible, but yeah, I could see it not being anywhere, like for screening. But looking back,
Well, I mean, by that I mean they haven't released it on like
yeah,
a proper Blu-ray
or even was it ever on a VHS other than a rental?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then a new company just came out, XO6. They're creating new statues based on the characters of Star Trek. And their first one is Lieutenant Commander Data. So log on to XO6 for more information.
And these are statues?
I don't believe so. I think they're action figures.
Yeah, I would say it's the cloth.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. No, it's because the cloth clothing I was like, wow, for a statue, that's pretty impressive. But it's very detailed. I mean, you can see
this one comes with the second head from that scene in one of the Star Trek films where he starts to have like real human flesh over his face.
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, that's the second head it comes with. But I mean, these are pretty cool. These kind of remind me of 112 figures.
Well, when you look at his neck, you could see like kind of like a fold in the skin, like you would normally have, So
right.
it's
very detailed.
Yeah, very well done.
So that about wraps it up for news. So I just want to point out, if you're inclined to help out with the channel, because we're not really big fans of Patreon, I mean, you should always get something for your money. And, just we appreciate it, but having, just us talk about stuff, I don't think is really a bang for your buck. So if you are inclined, to support us, and we appreciate it, we appreciate you just listening to us.
Thank you for putting up with my jokes. I mean, that's probably why we don't have many listeners.
You can log on to teespring.com/stores/toylines 2, and you can pick up one of our Toy Lines t-shirts. You can also pick up a t-shirt from our newest podcast, Rocketeer Radio. Now, the art on Rocketeer Radio, I may be being biased, but it's awesome. I mean, you got the Rocketeer flying in the background, doesn't infringe on any copyright, hint, hint.
Oh.
And you get an old-fashioned radio.
And it's you don't even need the words. You can just look at the pictures and be like, oh, Rocketeer Radio.
Exactly.
And it comes in different colors, shirt-wise. If you wanted to get you go to selected gray, blue, and so on.
Yeah, we're gonna be running some special stuff and incorporating some of the cool items we have going on. So I want to thank Brian Salvatore for our intro and outro music, Shared Universe Podcast, our friends over at Spectre Creative. These guys are amazing. They've been helping us all throughout. Scott has a whole bunch of YouTube videos you should check out. So support them. And while you're at it, if you can be so kind to support us on YouTube, you can subscribe or hit that bell.
Ding.
We'd appreciate it.
Definitely.
Please join the conversation at toyspodcast@gmail.com. You can follow us on all social media platforms at Toylines. And on Facebook, we have 2 options for some reason, at Toylines or Toy Shelf Magazine. Now, I just put up a Casey Jones from NECA toy review on www.toy-lines.com. Please check it out if you're on the fence, even though why would you be about purchasing anything from NECA?
It's Casey.
Exactly. So please subscribe, give us a rating, or do both.
And
we are on all podcasting platforms. And it was so funny. I was walking past our Alexa, and I was like, hey, play the Toy Lines podcast. And for the first time, she knew exactly what I was talking about.
And also, the latest episode of Rocketeer Radio is out on Podbean. Yesterday, but today or whenever you're listening to this. And that I take a look at the Disney Junior cartoon, kind of hinting out references made to the Dave Stevens comic book and to the movie. And actually, believe it or not, there's a lot of them in there. So if you have a moment and...
Yeah, that's the one with the little girl, right?
Yes, Kit Secord. Yeah. And actually, I think I just went into my Rocketeer Radio voice for some reason. I sound different when I do that show.
Are you at the Bulldog right now?
I am in the attic of the Bulldog Cafe.
That's what I thought. That's where the best acoustics are. Okay, folks, thanks for listening. Play with your toys.
Thank you.